Fire. Don't you have friends like that, people like that? Nduzi mwana wa Bill Gates wari kutangira papi. Wa Elon Musk. Elon Musk is going to colonize, is it Mars or something? And is planning to migrate there and go there with some 80 millionaires who actually leave Earth and make their home there. And is going to create tourism for those who want to visit that place. You can see kuti Elon Musk is evil, but Elon Musk is trying to portray that humanity is close to being angels. And we can develop to a point. Actually, Ellen G. White says this side of heaven, we can match angelic intelligence. In our sinful state, humanity can develop that much. Did I have another hand somewhere? Was it you? Yeah.
Okay. You taught us that we are so important that when the devil sinned, Christ remained alive. But when we sinned, God had to die for us. That's how important we are. Then you also taught us that there's nothing wrong with having money, but we should change our attitude towards money. So the love of money is the root of all evil. It's the attitude that we have towards money that is the root of all evil.
Hallelujah. And especially, imi mukazona mdhara ngwaro ane mari dzake nemindset andinaye, because ina handisi kudhauta kuti ndichaita billionaire. I'm 66 years old. I'm reading stories of millionaires and people that made it into life. And I'm Dara KFC, wakazoita mari at 76, thereabout, abva ku-army, and recipe, I mean, he bumped into a recipe or created a recipe that has kept his lineage up to this day. A recipe. And so a gold mine. This man creates a recipe, and that recipe has carried the family. Now they're a franchise around the world. There's a certain lady, she was a teacher in the States, and she had always dreamed couldn't be a millionaire. But how do you become a millionaire from teaching? It was almost pointless to start thinking, you need to just right, fire and marry, and what have you. But one day, in her ambition and not knowing kuti arguite, she writes a book and takes it to my publishers and stuff like that. The book hits the markets at 76, she's a millionaire. Sometimes, I don't know whether it's fate or what, but I think it's God involved. When it's your moment, simple things will change your life. I hope somebody got that. If I were to pull back 1977, 78, ndaisunga butsi dzine wire. That's how poor I was. I only had one pair of trousers and a t-shirt yezebra yakadai. Ndakaipfeka gore rese and what have you. But somehow at the back of my mind, ndendine vision, ne dream yekuti kuzolunga. It will not remain like this. I don't know what is going to happen or what. Even up to now, my family will tell you, when I strongly mean something and I've got a conviction, Ekuti, I want to be this, I want to get that. It may be a matter of months or a few years. My dreams, if I mean them, they become real. My life is not defined by today. It's defined by how far I see into the future and start working towards that. Yeah. I'm going to siririsa, kuti uneka mukabhache kamuka trousers, and uri kuya kuzo ndori kuparidza kana ndori kuimba. Please, as you go to the pulpit, go in the fullness of God's presence. Don't look at your clothes. Look at the one you are representing. Do you understand what I'm saying? Look at whom you are presenting. My friend Alia Ripanapa Alice. In your life, Ali, wakambofunga kuti Mwari angaite SID director division. In your wildest dream. Takakura desena Alice. Zvakambopinda mureni makwere. Imi. God sees in the dark and he changes times and seasons. That's my God. Don't apologize for who you are today because God is still at work in your life. It will not kuzolunga. Do I have one or two last ones? Anyone have a passion to say something? Please, what did you get from divine service? Yeah.
We learned about the power of choice, that we can choose, and even after choosing, we can still choose.
What did he say in 10? What could you? Yeah.
That you can choose to become.
Yeah.
Even after choosing, you can still choose again.
You, hey, I was right. Do you know that the raw material of life is choice? Please, the raw material of life is what? Ozandakagara mbama wangu ndikati ndaretire. So I had a choice of kugara pasofa ndichiona TV richibuda roenda pakati rondodoka ndikuti kwa musati mabika one and what have you called I could have chosen a retirement life where I've done with working now ndakufamba sewash kudokesa zuwa nekurimutsa and nothing of that nature. But I simply told myself, Mike, you have interacted at world level, GC, division, you have gone to 23 countries, you have gone to all continents and whatever. You have an experience that you can now share at 66 years. Your level of wisdom and intelligence, i.e., yakura, zvakadaro zvekuti the world out there is waiting for you. Go and give to the world what you have received in 66 years old. Ndagara pasi ndikati, okay, I want to do life coaching. Ndagara life coaching. Vanatoenrolla uyo papa. Tatoita life coach here tapedza. Saka coach wedu, master coach wedu Dion. Somebody asked kuti, saka life coach anopiwa mari, anowana mari. So Dion says, in South Africa, you get 800, minimum 800 rands per hour. And but the average for good coaches, you must be getting between 1.2, 1.5 per hour. So you sit down, you are selling time. The hour you leave, somebody akagara pamberi pako for 1 hour, you are 1,500 richer when they go. Are you getting the point? In America, it's between $150 to $200 per hour. Kunana Canada is about 100 to Ningirikini to 150 per hour. Then he says, you guys are getting internationally accredited. What it means is, you are not only limited to get clients in Zimbabwe, you are going to have clients from UK, from US. Panama cultures are garachida coaching. And those cultures are willing to pay. So, welcome to the world of money. At 66 years of age, you have made a better choice. So imagine if I had sat down, kumba, those who say, Mwari makaita kuda kwenyu, ndogara kumba, and I don't use my choice to change my life. Remember, changing your life is not God's business. It's never God's business. Neither is it the devil's business. It's not your parents' business. Changing your life is your business. Do you understand? Changing your life is your... Right now, after completing a course in life coaching, I am more marketable on planet Earth, not only Zimbabwe, on the planet Earth than I was 3 weeks ago. And it took a decision to change my life. And somebody simply sits, you fast and pray, you go to prayer of mountains, you come there with a mountain of poverty after spending the whole... Amusukundinzwisisa. Diony says, Diony, don't coach anyone who has a desire. Yekuti, I wish, and that's not your client. We don't coach dreamers. We coach people on a purpose and commitment. I am going to be a millionaire. Dion says, coach that person. Because in I want to start a business. Pastor Ngwaru, can you take me through the coaching system? Where do I start? Where do I go? That person, the ways they state their goal can show there's commitment to it. A lot of us are into wishful thinking. We are actually dreamers. We are not creators of our own future. Am I insulting anyone? Huh? Yes. Ndikupinda ngumlesson eMuscat kumeta ma commercials. Do you know? I can sit down here and see how people are selling airtime. Are you getting the point? Nona kumara nikodu kwa ntengisa airtime ichipera koma yakapera. Do you know kuti unogona pasuka design a way of selling airtime that from airtime you can be a millionaire? Just the lesson in Muscatano is possibly going to help us expand our thinking. That's what I would like to, if I can encourage you, that's exactly what we want to do. I remember David Whitehead kuonana kambuzuma uko Douglas Road what waitengesa ma socks. Ndakasvika nemudzimai wangu tikatenga 1 dozen ma socks edu. Right? Madzimai ari kuuya kutenga 3 pairs, 4 pairs, 10 pairs. Isakatenga 12 pairs. Ndobva taenda with our selling whatever. Ndobva tapinda mune building. Because warungu wengu achiriko kwa nipfeka mashoti akadai masafari nemasocks aisvika muno. And whatever tikasvika sit down warungu tikataura navo. Masocks edu kubva apera pa one company but adzokera vanatenga mamwe. Ndobva taenda pa next building kubva atengwa ese kubva apera. At the end of the day tine VW chetu yero. Ndobva tazosvika mangwana kwa David Whitehead. Ndobva tati salary yangu yese mwedzi iyoyo. Tikati salary yese atenge masocks. Yese yakadaro. Ndobva tati toda masocks emari yekuti. Vatatenga stock yese. Engeri factory shop. Manager wacho bvabuda zvikanzi ana mai tine urombo masocks apera. Zvikanzi apera zvikanzi watenga ese. Kupinda kudai so takatanga kurowa mari ku Workington light industry. We were the socks couple and the socks one wakwana chiVW. Unozwa mwe ndoda kuti kudi. Ndoda kuti kudi. Muchaona imimi. One thing chinogona kukonzera poverty among Adventist young people is that we are grooming you to be smart professionals. Amfana ngokuita tsvina, amfana ngokuita zvinomakisa. So as a result munogona kugara pa HCCC muri poor musina mari for as long as muchipangidza kuti muri ball. Amusingizwa zvandiri kutaura. Muri kupangidza zviripo asi mari chayo. Mumwe yekudzokera kumba achatoti shamwari hauna here kana 50 cents. Are you getting the point? Zvipfana zvemulocation anokwanisa kuti tikandogocha. Pane munhu ari kugocha Chibahwe muna Blair Road pa OK pa Belvedere. Mupfana iyeye. Saka kwaari zvekuti dignity ndiri kuita hutsi ndiri kuti haana basa. Iye anoda kumeka mari. Saka achasviba achiita mari. Imi mugotenga Chibahwe chake achiita mari. Iwe uchizudza kuti abeni kuti ukazodewo zvinondimakisa. Usatombodaro. Mukauya kuRido Ridge kuna umwe mai wakawaka imba mulainira naPastor Boni. Ndineba waPastor Muzira. Wakawaka imba wakatopedza iswa mwe tichiri kuita matouch-ups and whatever. I give a lift tiri kuenda kuWhite House kuna Blair Road tiri kubva kuRido Ridge. Saka zvakatanga sei chichi kanje muri kuzviona sei? Zvikanzi isusu tinongorarama. Tikati kuwaka zvikanzi baba wakasosiya basa kudhara. But inini musika ndouri kutondiitira. Wari paRido Ridge. And then she says, ndakabvunza, saka imimi on a good day munoenda nemari yekumba. Ndienda $200 from madomasi neonions. Ndienda $200. On a bad day, ndienda $60. Ndikati saka imbaka zvikanzi uyai kumba kwangu muone kuti imba yangu iri kuwakwa neWhite House nemadomasi nechichinyi and what have you. Ndiri kuedza kungoningirikina. I don't know if it will open somebody's mind. Handisi kutengesa madomasi kana kutengesa airtime. But mari haionekwe nesmart people. Mari haidi kunyara. Yeah, mari haidi kunyara ende. Ndakambonzire mumwe musikana wandaida kuroora before marriage. Saka musikana yakarowa rwendo kubva kumusha kwawo kuzondudza kuti Mike. Inini hangu ka ndoda kutaura zvechokwadi. Ndikati chii? Ndikanzi inini hangu ka chibasa. Ivo ndo pandakatoona mushato wedu watoperera panapa. Chibasa chekuita pastor soka. Neintelligence yako Mike, you can do something. Inini hangu handinoda kuita mindfulness. Zvinondimakisa. You can ask Mairachi, just Mairachi ungariku, ungasatwa Mairachi, enga release. She was just a church friend. They got okay, Shamari, I think road zedu za pesa na pana goodbye. She goes, right doesn't get inini ndoda kutoita mufundisi zvichinyadzisa. Ndo zvandoda kutoita izvezvo. That's my calling, ndo zvandoda kuita. Zvekuti zvinonyadza inini ndo career ndoda kudini. Lisi uyatfambe tiende na list yagara kuma same line. Kubva zvatopera ipapapa. Are you getting the point? The point I am trying to make in life is don't be unstoppable. If your career path ichikwenza kuma diesel, kuma grease, yokupfekesa hovorosi ine tsvina, yoita unge inomakisa asi kana zvichiitisa mari izvozvo. We are in this world to make money. Not kuita zvekuti vanhu vanditi I'm smart. Tozoita hedu smart taakumberi uko. But pakutanga dzimwe nguva no. Atite zvinoita kuti tiite chinyi, tiite mari. Hazvibetsere to congregate in a smart church without a smart pocket. Yeah, work on your pocket whichever way. And paunongori kuita mari kaiweweka. During the 6 days hatiko. Totozokuona wapfeka suti yako musi weSabata ndozviri right. During the week itatsvina woita mari. Wozouya kuchechi wane suit, it's fine. Alright, ndoda kubata panapa financial freedom. But of course, again, zvandikutaura should not limit you. Kana uchigona kuti 1 na 1 unoita basa rismart ende raunoda. Go ahead and do it. You don't have kuita tsvina kana uchigona kuita mari wakachena. Yeah. All right, financial freedom. Ndoda kuerenga Matthew 24 verse 14 to 30. At that time the kingdom of heaven will be like this. Once there was a man who was about to leave home on a trip. He called his servants and put them in charge of his property. He gave to each one according to his ability, To one, he gave 5,000 gold coins. To another, he gave 2,000. And to another, he gave 1,000. The servant who had received 5,000 coins went at once and invested his money and earned another 5,000. In the same way, the servant who had received 2,000 coins earned another 2,000. But the servant who had received 1,000 coins went off, dug a hole in the ground, and hid his master's money. After a long time, the master of those servants came back and settled accounts with them. The servant who had received 5,000 coins came in and handed over the other 5,000. You gave me 5,000 coins, say? He said, look, here are another 5,000 that I have earned. Well done, you good and faithful servant, said his master. You have been faithful in managing what? Small amounts. How big is TM? TM Africa? Anybody? You can shout from there, yes.
Well, I believe it's got over 100 branches.
100 branches. They went into TM supermarkets. They went into TM what? Hotels. Mikls, isn't it? It became TM Africa and what have you. Are you getting the point? But do you know, their history, iri kutanga pa a vegetable store by the side of the road yefami yawo. Paitengeswa madomasi neonyi dzakahenga kudeo. Thomas Mikls never nawo ke wachitengesa. Are you getting the point? And because they were doing very well over small things, the Lord opened a big ningirigini capacity for them to do great things and whatever. Kazhinji tuda kutanga zvakakurisa too much. Totadza kumanage growth yoti pusha back into poverty. It's better to work upward than to start there and find yourself being pushed downward. So, you have been faithful in managing what? Small amounts. So I'll put you in charge of large amounts. Come on in and share my happiness. Then the servant who had been given 2,000 coins came in and said, you gave me 2,000 coins. Say, look, here are another 2,000 that I have earned. Well done, you good and faithful servant, said his master. You have been faithful in managing small amounts, so I'll put you in charge of large amounts. Come on in and share my happiness. Then the servant who had received 1,000 coins came in and said, say, I know you are a hard man. You reap harvest where you did not plant, and you gather crops where you did not scatter seed. I was afraid, so I went off and hid your money in the ground. Look, here is what belongs to you. You bad and lazy servant, his master said. You knew, did you, that I reap a harvest where I did not plant and gather crops where I did not scatter seed? Well, then you should have deposited my money in the bank, and I would have received it all back with interest when I returned. Now take the money away from him and give it to the one who has 10,000 coins. For to everyone who has something, even more will be given, and he will have more than enough. But the person who has nothing, now listen the danger of having nothing. But the person who has nothing, even the little that he has will be taken away from him. Imagine you have nothing, and then that will be taken away from him. As for this useless servant, throw him outside in the darkness, where there will be, where he will cry and what? Gnash his teeth. I want us 5-6 minutes. Anybody, use your mind and glean some thought powerful from this passage. Anybody, before I go to my own ideas to add to what you are going to say. Anybody? What did you hear? What did you hear? What can you pick? What is this passage saying to you? Right? Mike? In the morning we had so many mics. What happened? I used to enjoy it at ZBC. There was Mike Mundwa. You guys were not there. He would say, behind the mic stands another mic, Mike Mundwa. So behind this mic stands another mic, Mike Ngwaro. Right, let's go to those. Any lesson? Let's go 5-6 minutes and get lessons from you. What is it saying to you?
All right, I get that the ones that have much go and expand it into more. But the ones that do not have, do not do anything about it. That's what I learned.
Okay, that's fine. The danger is poverty will keep you poor, and abundance will even make you more abundant. Is this what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah. Right, we see you.
Okay. I learned that we should make good use of what God has already blessed us with.
Very good. Make use, responsible use of what God has given you. Overlap this. Yeah.
From this passage, I learned to be diligent with my talents. I learned to be diligent with my talents. In other words, I shouldn't sit on them. I just have to put them to good use. So if I'm gifted in singing, there's no need to shy away with my singing gift.
Wow. Identify your talents, your giftedness, and work on it. Work on it. Talent can be improved. You can do better, you can do more with the gift that nature has given you and the gift that God has given you. Thank you for that. Please, somebody else?
What this passage has taught me is asina kuriska panishiwa. So you're supposed to risk and get something.
But these guys took a risk. I get them, and they were rewarded for taking a risk. I am sure even if they had gotten a loss, they would have told the master, I tried to make use of the Makasia, but I'm sure the master would say, thank you for trying. Did you hear that? Thank you for what? Take a risk. I like that. Yeah.
Okay, I learned that poor people. Okay, poor people, they don't have respect enough. As we see, that guy angani 100,000. They say you useless servant. I don't know. Useless servant. But those who invest and get more, they talk in respect way to their master.
Right? The other two spoke with respect and it. Right? And then the other one, of course, was good and stuff. Okay, let's have 2-3 hands and then we can now decide it.
Yeah, poor people always find someone to blame.
Yeah.
People always have someone to what? To blame, yes.
Okay, I want to take a twist from the contribution that you've said, Pastor, pertaining to the person who received 1 talent. At least he retained. But we have others toward when you give them $5, they won't even give you. back your money. So I think the issue about stewardship is more. When God gives you one talent, He expects more talents. You know, we tend to look at this guy and say, he was bad. But with people, you know that if you give them money, they won't even return that money. And they want more from you. So I think we have to learn from this guy and do more from where he left.
All right. Takatasa, this issue, I was looking at the issue of faithfulness. If you see the master went away, he was not there. So on the issue of faithfulness, if you are not faithful with yourself, you never get anything in life. Those were just the results of an unfaithful servant. You don't need to be supervised in your life. Have your own goals in whatever you do.
I don't know how I missed that even in my notes. Hey, that's powerful. Self-supervised. Great people supervise themselves. If you are the owner to be checked, no. You can tell direction.
Okay, I think even though the reality of life is that life is unfair, we're expected to still work within the capacity that we have to do our best. Because these 3 servants could have been given the same amount, but they were given different ones, and they did what they could within the capacity that they had. So we're all expected to do something.
Wow. Thank you. So it's like, if I give you 5, are you going to be productive? So if I decide to give you 2, are you going to be productive? So the principle is, do your best with what you have. Don't. I think the problem we are going to borrowing from you, the guy where one became a victim of analysis paralysis. Yeah, you want to compare. In your are you getting the as Mukomano Panata and Apungo, as Manipa too are evil. And they can be all productive and what life, like my sister is saying, it will never, even among siblings, there are siblings who have got more, others who have got less. Others who may need to help. Are you getting it? But whichever state that you find yourself in, make the best out of it. Thanks a lot.
Okay, Pastor, I reckon that if you don't try, you are never going to realize your potential. The same way with Jesus. If Jesus had not listened to his mother telling him, you know what, just listen to what he's going to say. And he was like, Mom, my time is not now. But then, there and there, he was able to actually change the water into wine because he dared to try. So it's the same with us. If we don't dare to try, we're never going to know our potential. And then what I also liked is, to him who has and entrusted, much more will be given. Yeah.
The power of trying. What is another hand there? I'm sure we'll be the last one. Yeah.
I just wanted to, I think, buttress the last point that you said. So if we look at the 10 commandments, one might think that the most important two is the first and the last one. So in the context of what you just said. So the first commandment said you are supposed to love the Lord, your God, with all your heart. So what that means is you're supposed to look up. And the last one says you shouldn't covet your neighbor's possession. So you shouldn't look around too much. So I think those commandments sort of solidify the last point that you said. We're not supposed to focus on what other people are doing.
Okay, I didn't want to say, but let me say, But you have already said it that. Oh, okay. I'll highlight the fact that you said in a way that we must see ourselves as servants. Whether you're a boss, whether you have money, whether you come from a rich family or what, at any given time, you must see yourself as a servant. That's how you can make money. And then number two, you also gave an example of TM, where they started as a family. One of the things why we don't make it succeed is because we are not able to work as family, putting our resources. So I don't know how we're going to get the wisdom to unite, maybe as our families, as brothers, to put resources together and ideas so that we can also have a breakthrough. Thank you.
Thank you. One thing that one virtue that God gave me and my wife, and privilege and opportunity, is that starting off our marriage, Mike is coming from abject poverty. Lizzie is coming from abject poverty. So you have two poverties that are meeting. But we are extroverts. We smile, we laugh. We do our courtship, we start our marriage as if we are the richest guys. Taitambana na Alisa, they were better off, good jobs, playing with poor guys and what have you. I remember Chigarana Lizzie, tikatizo Lizika, isusu hatina mota, shamwari zedu dzine mota. Tichazoita mota yedu kana time yachadini. For now, techipinda mu Harare United, tobhadhara 16 cents kuenda town todzoka, tichidini. Let's be content. Let's not compare ourselves nana Alice. Kurukubva na Alice, ne how their life is organized, we don't know. Let's deal with our situation. Atina motkari. Takatanga tisina masofa. Our friends warukuya takatenga kitchen table. After my Bible commentaries, takazogona ku upgrade. Nova tatenga kitchen table inema chair 4. Saka mukoya makawanda wamuwenyo ndombogara pasi tokupai newspaper and whatever. Hatina kuenda kwa okay kundotsvaga zvikwereti zvekukufadzai. We were not many pleasers. We were content, not content to remain as we are. We were content not to compare ourselves with anybody. Our friends are blessed differently than we are. We will enjoy our blessings, let them enjoy their blessings. We are not competing neshamwari zedu. We will live our lives to the full. All right, let me go to, just to add to what you have said, and I'm going to improve this presentation by adding zvamadini, zvamataura. The philosophy of biblical financial stewardship based on Matthew 25 and verses 14 to 30. I wonder if you can go to that, those of you managing IT there. The philosophy of biblical financial stewardship based on Matthew 25, verse 14 to 30. Panama points ayo. Yekutanga, all you are and all you have belong to God. Do you see, Kuti, by simply saying servant, like my brother said there, just by saying servant, you are saying I am owned. I don't belong to myself. Are you getting the point? Now you are given property, your owner. Are you getting the point? You make a profit of that money, that capital investment, you are pure. You make a profit. So the primary amount and the profit you have, both of them, including yourself, you must give yourselves back to the master. Ana change akasara nayo. Akangoti everything you gave me, including everything I have gained, everything belongs to you. I just want to buttress this. We have always had a wrong idea of thinking that God owns 10% of our income. That's a wrong theology. God owns 100%. He only allows you to use 90. But otherwise, the 90 and the 10% are God's money, including yourself. Including yourself. You want to say, Pastor Ngwaru, what is the root of your success story? Because mine is a success story. From the time things were bad in the family to what I am, I need to write a book and whatever. Going back to some of those things that have really defined my development and growth, I can tell you that being faithful to God in tithes and offerings in my last 66 years was a great investment. A great investment. Being faithful in tithe is an investment, it's not an expense. Let me illustrate this. I'm sending an invoice, 8,300 to do a life course by Dion and my secretary Zake. So I write back to one of Mwanawake. I want to do life course, but I think I may need to postpone because currently I don't have 8,800. Then she says, by the way, are you the one who recommended Melusi? They got, yes, I'm the one. They got, okay. We'll discount 5,300. Just pay 3,000. I just want to tell you how God pays back in some ways. Do you understand? Ndikataura zvakawanda family yangu inozondikondema kuti makuzotaurawo nezvese regai zvimwe zvacho because ali anozotaura lizi kuti iwe unataura mike asangotaura zvezvese. All right. I'm in Swaziland. I come to South Africa. Then my prostate needs to be worked on. My prostate needs to be worked on. And the bill is up to 700,000 rands. Even if you go back to the church to say, muchabhadhara 90%, it's like you are closing the account department for Pastor Ngwaru kuti aende kuchipatara. Right? We are battling, account department is battling, and what have you, medical aid. Hey, this is $1.5 billion. So we go for a review. I'm being prepared for surgery and whatever. So doctor says, are you a taxpayer in South Africa? And I go, yes. Me, I'm employed in South Africa here. She goes, okay. Do you have a medical aid? I said, yes, I have. Have you ever registered for oncology? What is that? No, I haven't. She goes, okay, fill these forms. I put my signature. Regards, your whole bill, 700,000, by just that signature, is paid. It's paid. And to history, it's paid. The Cancer Association of South Africa. If you are a tithe payer, not tithe payer, a tax returner, and what have you, and watobhadhara zvimwe zvirwere zvawachabhadhara, but apa mudharaka ndakaitwa the most expensive surgery on planet earth yekuti unoenda patable ka ndikumbokushainira wanditi woenda patable woiswa makamera, unoborwa maburi 6 ine kamera inopinda apa, koita kamera inopinda apa, kozoita mamwe ma-laser cutters. Right? Madoctor, iwori wega muroom mako imomo. Madoctor opinda mune imwe room yawo, mu-audio room, mu-media, whatever it is. Woenda pa-computer. Wochitanga kuku-operator remotely. Wachansa computer. Iwo hamuna munhu anokubata, hapana chigero chinokubata. And what have you? When I got out there, it pays to be God's servant and to be faithful. Mwari kune vanhu vari faithful. Izvi kana usingatobhadhara tithe yako kana iyi haisi promotion yekuti return regera, ina handiregeri. What I have seen, faithfulness pays. It's a great investment. Right? And every person is a steward. The human mind is God's greatest property on earth. In other words, what is at stake, these three guys, is how they used their brains. You are given something. How are you going to commit your brain to make a difference on what you have been given? Someone chooses like, I am not going to. He's not using eyes. He's not using ears. He's making judgments on his brain, and his brain is telling him, do nothing about that. All right, I'm going to make a difference. I am going to do this. So, in other words, when God gave us my brains, God does not want to replace our brains by himself. God is a thinker, he is a creator, he is what? But when he said, let us create men and women in our image, who think and act like us, God does not want to interfere with your brain. Ndosaka anongokupa 5,000 talents or 5 talents, and God disappears. Why is he disappearing? He is saying, but I gave you the brain. You shall apply your own brain on this. Chimwe chinotinetsa chimwe ndechekuti we do not apply our brains to situations. Inindona angu chimweka. Let me call a spade, but it's not the only truth. But panimama truth akawanda. Imwe problem that we have is to remain in settings where we do not think but others think for us. In other words, marine was so. So we are always trying other people's ideas of making money. They are the ones who think for us. Us is to try whether their ideas work and what have you. And sometimes 9 times out of 10 you discover my motivational speeches don't take people from where you are to where you should be. Dion says, Mike, we are not training you to be motivational speakers because motivation is temporary. The moment you leave the stage, people forget what you have said. Come to Triple C with your brain. Don't leave it home. Hear what you have heard. Kunoya wanu panapa wachipromote a youth church. Munozowana mukadai muneta mari mukadai ini ndikazodai. Your experience is not exactly the same as mine. The road I am taking, the person I am, the way I'm responding to life is different from, yes, I have heard what you have said, but I'm going to apply my mind to decide what works for me and what doesn't. Don't treat yourself as a patient and you treat this world as a specialist who must give you a prescription of how to run life. God expects you to think. Right? The law of stewardship is about increase over and above what? Maintenance. Pane vakomana vatatu ava hapana mbavha. Hamusi kundinzwa. Pavakomana vatatu ava hapana chinyi? Hapana akabira bosi wake. Bosi achidzoka kanzi 5 zvamakandipa hezvo. Uya akauya kanzi 2 zvamakandipa hezvo. Uya akati 1 chamakandipa muda kuchiona icho. Saka in terms of preserving equity yangu inini as an investor, as a boss, hapana munhu akandibira. Are you getting the point? But now, here is the biblical philosophy of stewardship. Biblical philosophy of stewardship, inotiyo. If there is no increase, you are a thief. Aiwa, muna kundinzwa. If there is no what? If there is no increase, you are a thief. So this man says, why? You have stolen, you have denied me. If you did not want to trade my money, at least you could have taken it to the bank. I was going to get my money plus interest, but you have denied me that. Ukaona tithe yako ya mna January yakafana ya mna June, you are very unproductive. Hapana increase. Tithe yako mna January. Iwe mwanangu, what's your name? Even. Okay, tithe yako mna January. $100. Muna February. $100. Muna March. $100. June. Muna May. Muna April. May. Tosika muna. You mean in your whole life, there's nothing that increased. That could have increased up your tithe. So it suggests you are so stagnant, you are stuck. You are stuck in that income that gives you the same tithe for 6 months. There's something wrong with you. If there is no increase in your offerings, you are stealing. If there is no increase in your tithing, and so to increase in percentage, but increase in terms of monetary value. Tithe yangu ya mna January, hainga compare na December. After 12 months, ndichiri kuzosera tithe yakafa, aiwa ndina ndidi. All right. Anzizo, God does not think for us, hence, you will account for how you use your mind. Judgment, they are being judged on how they use their brains. That's the judgment. It's not a question of being faithful. Can I measure faithfulness? Everyone was faithful, the three of them. But I can add that the element of attaching growth to faithfulness, only two grew, and the other one did not remain stagnant. And for that reason, he was thrown out. In other words, in the plan of salvation, there is no room for unproductivity. You come to church Sabbath after Sabbath after Sabbath after Sabbath. You are not leading souls to Christ. You are not increasing your tithe and offerings. You simply come to church to sing hymn number 7. Sabbath after Sabbath. You need to begin to ask yourself, am I being productive in life? Salvation, being Christian, is all a question of being productive. Not only productive about going to heaven, but productive in making your family. Let your family live a qualitative life because you are productive. We need to be outcome, solution-driven instead of being problem-focused. And if there is a problem that we all face, wazhinji, ndekuti parinongo mukazuwa, we are kind of need a self-talk, or sometimes we verbalize it. We are kind of communicating to ourselves via the world around us to justify our poverty. Munoziva zvakazoitwa nevarungu zviya nguva yambuya nehanda. Uchiri kunana mbuya nehanda nanasi. Mbuya nehanda wati kawamusa watombokuziva futi. Are you getting the point? Uri kumuka iwewe hakuna mabasa. Mama muda kuti ndiita sei? Munongondibho every time munongonditaurira kuti hausatoona basa nanasi. Mabasa acho haako, and what have you? So in other words, we are trapped in words. Hanzi kune a selection of words we speak that actually anger us or get us stuck in non-development. The kind of attitude, the kind of words we speak, the kind of people we associate with actually can tell us it's okay to remain who you are with your struggles. I told you in the morning, today you are all enjoying my ministry, but it had to take a serious decision. Kuti Gina is not a friend. If I remain around Gina, my life is not going to change. Do you understand? So in other words, tiri kudzidziswa ku-life coaching uko. Zvikanzi izvo, coaching is not like counseling. Coaching is not like your mentoring and whatever. Zvikanzi, coaching is helping people to think differently, to think in terms of what they want to become, and then move with them to that end. Many people are stuck in explaining problems. Many people, when you meet them, you say, zino rangu, adina kurara. No, nemsana foot. You see, when you meet, listen, when you meet people and what you tell those people is negative, what that does is, psychologically, you are okaying your state. You are justifying it. Let me remain like this. Because this is what I'm telling people. Asiku fire, and whatever. But uchata mwe munu, ane zisiri kufire, ari mu situation inenge yako, anokunotoita sisi wako, iwewe na sisi wako makabarwa na mai one, makanwa zamu one, mumwe anogona kugara pasi utaona kuti hazvisi kufire but regendo try izo. Hazvisi kufire but regendo mumwe munhu anenge kuti aiwa Zimbabwe yacho inonetsa. Zimbabwe, you spend your whole life telling us about my potholes in Zimbabwe, kunetsa kuti Zimbabwe, my RTGS and what have you. It will keep you down. And those who multiply their usefulness more will be given unto them. They will live in surplus. When we talk of financial freedom, we are talking of being in what? In surplus. In surplus. If your expenses, if your income is equal to your expenses, we reach borderline. A slight mistake will cost you your life. Do you understand? There are times when month end comes, your income does not already measure up with the budget of that month end. And what happens? You are then forced, shamwera munosenza nayo, yenezvi, auchagona kutokumbira because ausitwa mudzosera. Uyo ausitwa mudzosera, uyo wakamukumbira kuti udzosere uyo kuti uzodzosera uyo. You are now stuck. Auna surplus. So part of the Christian experience, it is based on Matthew 25 in the Ekut. A Christian should live in surplus. There must be, we meet our expenses and we should also remain with some money in our lives. Do you understand? Right? So, poor stewardship risks eternal destiny. If you constantly live in unproductivity, you may actually lose heaven. Because you must explain to God, in the only poor every day, in the snamari. You need to explain that because per day of judgment, the bus begunzi wakapombere. Aiwa, in the ongo snamari. Yes, unofanga out of uchatombo vunzi wati in the snamari. In the sna. Ndakada kuzonemwe question zvikanzi izvo. Une here dzimwe shamwari dzine mari. Saka clan yobati ndinadzo. Right. Mune zvakasiyana here neshamwari dzako, we are generally you're the same. Vari kuitei zvausiri kuita iwewe. Iwewe inda shamwari dzako dzine mari yousina. Zvii zvausiri kuita zvavari kuita. Right. Zoba zvanzi izvo. How to tap into financial freedom. Murikona diagram hiyo. Maiona? Ngaiwe. Let me have that diagram, please. Yeah. I guess you see. Pane pakanzi stuck, desired, and what? Resources. Generally, we find ourselves in that triangle. Pamusukona pakanzi stuck, desired, and what? And resources. So in other words, sometimes whether we want it or not, we find ourselves in this zone of being financially stuck. But then, kazhinji kacho munhu wega wega anotozwa kuti inini hangu state nekandinakira ka I desire to be like that. You have a desired state. But kuti uzosvika pa-desired state up, tinofanirwa kuenda kuma-resources. Kuti une ma-resources here anoita kuti iwewe ubve from being stuck to a desired life that makes you happy. And what are those resources? Let us look into a few of that. And pakuwa stuck. Awareness of the state of being financial what? Iyi picture inakunaka uko ukaona homwe yako kane pesi yaro vice yakadaro zvinhu hazvisina kunaka. Are you getting the point? All right. How do we know kuti you are stuck? Lack of income. Totally zero income. And I'm speaking to young people here. Don't think kuti I don't know. We have young people who actually have no income in their life currently. You are 30 years old, 35 years old, you are still under parental care. Why? Because there is no income in your life. You can't afford an independent life. Some of you, one of the reasons why you are into depression, and of course they are, warimu depression ekuti, even kutsiurwa kwanoitwa na mai, na baba, sometimes never koma. Stupid. There's something wrong with you. But sometimes the life has put you in a situation ekuti, currently it's lights off. There's no income. That's a desperate situation for an adult. Whether you are a woman or you are a man. And by the way, I discourage a woman to marry because you are financially stuck. I don't like that. Marry because you have a heart to love. Don't marry because you are escaping from poverty. Because when you escape and now you are in that marriage, you discover you don't even want the face of that man in your life. Then you come to pass. Pastors no vumirwa kuti ndirambi. Number 2 is the whole idea of malosses. Murikuwa business, kuruwa malosses. Murikuwa business, kuruwa malosses. Kuruwa business, kuruwa malosses, and whatever. Kufamu kwanguku, kune project ya taita. I was just investing in losses and whatever. And then you get to a point where you have had enough lessons and you tell yourself, this activity we are decommissioning. We are decommissioning. Are you getting the point? Kana activity iri kutipa ma loss is not profit. And we don't even know when we are going to break even. That activity is not good for you. As a person, Arukshansa brain, you must know when to quit from an activity. You must know when to quit. I cannot do that. On daily basis. You need to get to a point where you close the hole, and if it is necessary, you may have to begin all over again. Do you understand? I decommissioned that project, and what have you were doing in Ngirikini, your fertilized eggs for black ostrolop, doing very well. We're supplying my eggs, Gweru, Chivu, Kadoma, all over, and what have you. Patakatanga, taita ma crates upon crates, titumire 60 crates, titumire what, and so forth. Richi fire, and we thought we could taita bo. All of a sudden, apana client, ilikuwa kana one. Kana one, koma client, riders. Then another client tells me, Pastor, zviri seasonal is. Kana kuri kupisha, kunyange munane uku dzakaonda dzineta mazai. Imimi project yenyakatanga in winter. People in winter are going to get mazai. That's why all of us were getting eggs from Yoningi. But now that is warm, huku dzedu dzakukandira mazai, munhu wese huku dzake dzakukandira mazai. And then I'm telling myself, sure, ndingaite project inomirira winter in summer handina ma-clients. I don't need that project. And apo padzinenge dzisiri kudini, dziri kuita mazai, dziri kuda chikafu, ma-clients haasi kutenga, huku hadzisi kuenda pabreak yekuti taamusi chimbomiriwo kudyaka, ma-clients dziri kungoenda padzodya wese. Then my losses, I want to tell you, you get to a point where there are losses that become lessons for wealth making. But there are losses that are simply a big hole. Kusingisa your whole capital, you lose it. Then in a point, my debts. My debts. I have learned kutizo, a good debt is a debt that makes me money. A good debt is a debt that pays for itself. A bad debt is one for food and to buy clothes. And a bad debt is one that I'll pay from my salary. Amuskundinzwisisa. Ukaona uchikweretwa munhu nemunhu achibhenga nesalary yake, that's a high risk debt. Salary haigoni kupeya imi pachapeya munhu tithe yake, ozobva ozondobhadhara rent, ozobhadhara vana vechikoro, agoda mari yebhazi yemwedzi wese, ozokutaura kuti chavo ndipo $200 ndozokupa kana mwedzi wapera. Just be prepared to make it a donation. Do you understand? Ndakaenda huku dzangu dziri kufaya. I went to one of the dealers ngati shamwarika mari yangu iri low. I'm your loyal client. Murude wangu aru andoda chikafu che $800. Ayo imi wasikana ipe mdara chikafu anoya achibhadhara. Because inini hansi kubhadhara ne salary. Huku dzangu inini dziri kubhadhara dzeka. Zeta mazai dzobhadhara chikafu ichocho and what have you. There has to be a way where your debt is going to be paid by something outside of your salary. Kana iri salary, don't you borrow more than 10% of your salary. Because kana uri kutadza kubhadhara chegumi, che 10%, unozobhadhara semunhu. All right, toenda ningirikini. One income stream. This is one of the biggest challenges on planet Earth. You know, one salary inopa a false impression ekuti zviri right. Amuskundinzwisisa. Inokupa impression ekuti zviri chinyi? Zviri right, but you can wake up otorwa and say, no, we are folding. Iwewe in your life, haugoni kubika scone, haugoni kubika maputi, haugoni kutengesa airtime, nothing. You had a good job, but good job can belong to companies that are folding. At the end of the day, uri muHarare, hauchagoni kupeya flat, apartment hauchagoni kuibhadhara, and uri kunyara kundogara neshamwari dzako, and kudzokera kuvabereki zvako. Now you are in a deep crisis. So, tine vanhu, years nays, we call it a mirage. It's a mirage. You are stuck, but you don't see it. Yeah, you only see it when the larger economy considers companies to fold. That's when you realize kuti you were seated pamunanza and what have you, and you are not redeemable. Vanhu vanorarama ne one income stream, let me just say it's not the best of arrangements. It's not the best. It doesn't matter kuti zvinokubhadhara zvakaita sei. Factor in kuti iwewe handiwo muridzi wecompany, iwe uri muridzi wesalary, but hausi muridzi werevenue yekucompany. And hausi kuziva zvikwereti zvatiri kuita behind the scenes zvinoita kuti company ingomuka one day mupepa yakazara mupepa and the company yakutotengeswa. And people are beginning to talk about multiple streams of what? Of income. I've got my pension. I get my pension. Are you getting the point? EOA, it's already sealed. I get my pension. Right? Over and above my pension, I've got my farm, which is producing things for me. Are you getting the point? So I'm getting a little income from my farm. We are into production. We are producing foods, vegetarian stuff, and stuff like that, and so forth. We are also producing. We are getting a little income from that. Right? Over and above that, what am I also doing? Now I'm going to be getting money from life coaching. That's another streamline, irikuya, and what have you. What are we also doing? I'm buying another stand yemba. My stand yemba. We are going to put my garden flats so that isu turu garapa imba e. Are you getting the point? But uku turukwana income from what? From real estate and whatever. Now here is a 66-year-old person who thinks like that, and he won't lose a salary and $500. Yakatondi kwanire yo. Unopenga? Alice ndikupengere. Indiri pastor, I'm not a financial person. And did she right? Am I making sense? Please. And again, ndakanakidzwa semuna kupinda mu coaching, I was so enthused. With the AI, artificial intelligence, the civilization, your job market, and the market world is shifting. It's shifting. Vakunana social media wariko hao and whatever. Yakwenda ku artificial intelligence where you don't have to work in order to make money. In other words, kanamu business renyi mimi, ma computers enyu chenyi, anotengesa ma products, muri kumba, amudi ku employer, you don't need to do anything and whatever. Anotengesa mari zigo depositiwa, zigo ita say, ma computer go badara squared, ago ita say everything, wa go design a new products and what have you using AI. Iokana uchiri ku analog. You still can't use a computer in this day and age. And what have you? Talking about social media, the world is now going to artificial intelligence. By the time you catch up with this, you have become redundant. You have become redundant. In other words, Musa dereba ngumabasa yakuti ndaona wanonzi we fish amoto wanonzana wane billboard $100 per day. And what have you? I'm not going to billboards. I think Kona Samora na enterprise $100 per day. Urikumba anzi be your own boss and whatever. These guys are selling their fish, but they want people who are going to go about IT and whatever, and so that there's no fire and whatever. If they're advertising like that, why haven't you applied? Try it. Kana zvashanda. Kana zvisina hazvina. You can pick a lot of jobs online. Anita kuti usambotambudzike. Muroro wangu iye nezvenga kusenza ku Amazon. Amazon splashes jobs ningirigini. Vanoda ma agents anoita zvanodini and what have you and so forth. So there are a lot of jobs dzinogona kuonekwa ningirigini pa online that people may not be using. So expand my streams. Don't depend on one. And uchi depend on one stream of income. Don't borrow. I've told my wife, last year we had a very good income base. I was earning my pension. I was working at the conference in the media house. I was their media house manager. I was getting another income. This year they did not renew my what? My contract and whatever. So that's like you are losing $1,000 per month because that thing has not what? Has not been renewed. Imagine that a pension your chat will be more miserable today than we were last year. And another thing that nets and glorifying past success. Mandakaji kara agutse mwana. Ininere ndeke zenge ndakadai ininere ndika aiwa. A success of yesterday is not success for today. Keep piling up. Right, let me find a way of ending this. Let's go to desired state. Desired state, number one is the person you want to be. The person you want. Who do you want to be? How do you want to define yourself? How do you? I've told myself, learn from me, 66 years of age, I am priming myself and stage managing myself so that at least I am able to interface no sana ED, no sana Nigel Chanakira, no wakadaro ana strive masiwa. I should be able to have tea with those people. I've told myself I think I can also interface with people who are high in society. I don't want to limit my ministry just in the average citizens, but Pastor Ngwaru cannot have a cup of tea, na ED. If I want to, I'll simply tell one very close to ED, which Pastor Ngwaru would like to just come have a prayer with you, and please, he also needs a cup of rooibos tea. In Inangu, I want to be very honest. This is not motivational speech. It's not motivational speech. I want to be the kind of person who can interface with anyone. I want to feel kuti ndiri bo. I can sit down and drink tea with anyone. Iwewe, how far are you going in terms of who you want to be? What's your desired person? What's your desired person? Chimwe chinotinetsa, we live in a mindset of survival, but not thriving. We are not thriving. Our bank accounts can't take us to Victoria Falls. Our bank accounts can't take us to Chuero. We cannot go to Inyanga. Others are going to Inyanga, you can't go. Others are going to Kariba, you can't go. Others are going to K meeting, you can't go. Refuse that kind of life. Refuse, it's not good. It's not good for your mental health. To be always limited and excuses, I can't go. So, and this kuti, you are there yet. I am saying, you can tell yourself, Susan, be to Victoria Falls when you want to be there. And that's South Africa when you want to be there. Where you want to go, where do you want to go with your life, your vision? The quality of life that fulfills you. What kind of life makes you good? Ozakana uri mskana so, uruda kurorwa so. Garabas nemkomono kondo inzwaka shamwarika. And we are there yet. But in my personal vision is I want a home like this. I want a house either ku Mount Pleasant, ku Borodale, ku Zoraseko, or whatever the case may be. In something, I've got a passion for a home in a swimming pool. Don't fear to share maningirikini, my aspirations enyu. People want to discuss amarorana. Kushamari, this is the kind of life in on the fads. Ita ure usatu arorwa. Quality of life. Yes. Zvekufamba netsoka ngazvikurumidzwe kupera. Mushikashika unoita 2000. Mushikashika unoita 2000. Ngazvikurumidzwe kupera izvozvo. Then incremental bountiful living. Then my resources. Let me get to resources. Number one, your greatest resource is your mind. A perspective mind, analytical mind, creative mind, a mind full of faith. Your greatest resource is not your skill. Your greatest resource is your brain. Put it to use. Challenge yourself. Ozwa ndakanakidzwa vana vaMwari. Zvikanzi, take an analysis of all successful billionaires. Mari, millionaires, and whatever. And those people were not pushed by motivation. They were pushed by courage. The courage to move forward. Then in a time that I could tell how Mr. Jackson changed my life. Then the little evangelist Marare Muno. Right? The little evangelist, ndikutengesa mabhuku angu kumfakos. Ndikuatengesa kwa iFreeds. Inini ndiri poor, ndikutengesa mabhuku kuno vanhu vari poor. And my sales angu enga ari poor. Ne mili yangu enga iri poor. Ne boots enga iri poor. Everything was poor. Because everything was about, I'm a poor person, selling to poor people in a poor community. Are you getting the point? And therefore I get a poor commission, which buys poor food, and then I sleep on a poor bed. Jackson comes to me. I went watch Jackson in South Avenue. Mr. Jackson, I think you know Pastor Jackson. Jackson says to me, Mike, I see something in you. You are the most talented of all these evangelists that we have. Munom. And don't think it's and up market. ndikati Mr. Jackson boots dzangu zvikanzi for now ngatimboiginowe boots. What I can advise you is gadzira musoro bvudzi rako rebrown iri gadzirewo and make sure kuti ndikati ko chirungu handigonika zvika no, it's not a question of English. I am challenging you. Change your life. All you need, Mike, is courage. You have the courage to go to the guys who have money. You will see what happens. I went there. I went afraid. I went intimidated. I went not knowing what to say. I went there with the poor English, but the thing that transported me forward to the upper market was courage. When I got there, I remember in Michael house somewhere there, warungu vachiriko ndikanoka ndikapinda reception. Unoziva zismere munhu asingazive chirungu. Zismere munhu asingazive chirungu. Ndikati zvikanzi hello sir, ndikati yeah, because I didn't. Ndikati yeah. Mwana wamedema akaseka. Zvikanzi, so who are you? Oh, what can we do? Ndikati yeah, it is called Michael Ngwaru. It is coming from Home Health Education Service. Unoziva? Kutadza kwangu chirunguka made cells for me because these guys wari kufa nekuseka, but chiri kuanakidza ka ndechekuti, but this guy has got courage. Poor English, but see, look at him. He's here with us. I sold books in 1 month. I sold myself anodarika egorerese. Simply because I moved from motivation, from fear, and then went in the domain of courage. Even though I was afraid, I went. Are you getting the point? So there's a lot that can give you money, but you're afraid to move forward. Go there afraid. You see what happens. Right? You need skills, you need hope, courage, you need people. Let me take this one, failure. Ndakakomborerwa this last week Cheetah Life Coaching. And you know what they said? On planet Earth, there's nothing called failure. But there's something called feedback. Failure is feedback. Failure is information. Failure is a resource. I fail on a project per farm. But what I go there, I don't go with the eyes of failing. I go there with the eyes of gleaning information. What went wrong? Can this thing be righted? Then it informs me. I make a decision to diversify. So, failure, hakuna munu, kunsanganisana natagwire yu, hakuna munu on the earth, a billionaire, who did not use failure as a resource for success. Then your plan, goal plan, and I'm saying to be continued. Is it there? Goal plan, our lesson is to be continued. We have my disciplines in life coaching, nema techniques, nema models. A young person wants to start something. Where do you start? Where do you go? What do you do? And whatever, and we cannot do it right away at this point in time. But at the end of the day, when you understand your area where you are stuck, and you look forward to where you are going, and then you go to resources and say, what resources do I have to move from there to go there? And then you put those resources in place. And Anzi, 9 times out of 10, you already have what it takes to change your life. Please, I don't know how many times I'll come to City Church. Let me say this before I go back to Snake Park. Let me say it before I go to Snake Park. If coming to City Church is not a ground where you can discover how to make money, change your church. Don't come to City Church for status. City Church should be a resource that opens your mind to see how to make money, and you go out there. Don't come to City Church to hunt for resources. Come to City Church to give. Give your brain, give your eye. I'm talking of man. Most of you, I'm not married. But I want to tell you, you may give an idea. You can give an idea. My daughter-in-law says, guys, tinogona kugadzira a vegetarian protein meat inenge ku fries. Daddy, mune mari here from your resources. Then I said, yeah, mari iripo. Zvoda mari X amount. So you own it. I'm a trained chef. The only thing I know is I know how to make this product. But kanamine mari, we are going to combine my idea and your money. Let's go to the market and see how the market will respond. Watch this space. You are going to see our products in TM, in SPA, in OK, and whatever. That project is born by a person who has no money, but we had a skill and an idea. Do you know kuti vamwe venyu munogona kutouya kuna mudarati kuti mudaratiga ndoda kutokubatsira kuita mari. Ndenge ndine idea kare ti oita sakudeo otoona achitoita trillionaire from billionaire from your idea, and it can change your life. In a life, don't wait to receive, give, and your world will open wide. Ainanzo ndotaura kuti hayi munopenga. Munonetsa man. Right, how many of us have been blessed? I'm sure. I am sure next time I heard your boss, where's Stewardship Department, they will invite me, kana wachine mkana, to finish up some of these things and whatever. At church in Dopa, I'm free coaching. In Zimbabwe, I will not charge less than $50 for an hour. Oh, this is the truth before God. To coach a person out there, $50 an hour. But to go church, ozakuna matakwa kanaka sterek. Without to do our creative. Ali ndapeza. Ali ndapeza. I'm done. Hey, boss, I'm done. Ndokutendewa no mwari. Mirewe. It was a good morning and a good afternoon, andite. Let's have a date and meet again. My business is coach you to be successful people. Yes, you can.
Okay, maybe before you sit down, I think if there is anyone who can change the African narrative, it's the youth of today. It's you and me. There is someone who defined what salary is. Yes. He defined to say that salary, it is a bribe that an employee receives from an employer. So that it's a bribe that an employee receives from an employer so that they stay long at that workplace. So the moment now we're talking of digital civilization, it means that he will not need you. It means that as we are going there, the rate of unemployment is going to what? To peak. So now the danger that we have as young people, because we are too complacent, the danger that we have is the danger of complacence, being comfortable with our current state. But I think with this lesson, it has challenged our normal existence. And I think I will end with commenting on the issue of failure. I love the guy, Thomas Edison, who invented the light bulb. Exactly. He tried 999 times. And then on the 1000th time, he did it. And then he was interviewed by someone. And then the interviewer said, Thomas Edison, you failed for 999 times. What kept you motivated to continue trying? And then he said, stop, Mr. Interviewer. I did not fail for 999 times. I only found out 999 ways that do not work. Amen. Never become complacent with the current state you are in. Thank you so much.
All right. Guys, why don't you stand so that I pray for you? Let's stand for prayer. Father in heaven, what a day it was. Thank you for speaking to us, and thank you for the mindset you have given us. We are not failures. All we have is information on how we can do things better. We may not have money today, but it's coming. We may be nobodies today, but tomorrow we're going to be the kings and lords of this world. I pray, Lord, that you open doors that are shut, that you create opportunities for your children. They call you Father, and we pray, Lord, that you may also treat them as your children. Provide for your children, Lord. Those who need employment, those who need money, those who need to be promoted, those who need to change their jobs. Everything, Lord, isat chengetwe na Satan, nenganga, newaprofita nei, imindimi gona redu, musati nyatso pakutenda. We leave everything in your hands. Do with us as it pleases you, Lord. But at the end, may our lives give glory to you. In Jesus' name we pray, amen and amen. God bless you all. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Pastor, for a powerful presentation. In Inang, what I picked from this presentation is Satambe Nanagina. If you need to go forward in life, you must have friends that are in line with the goals that you want to achieve. We always have this discussion, more group rema gentlemen, and there are two guys. Vano wanzotaura to my business, to my airtime, and those guys, they're actually doing very well. So if we can learn from each other, and if we can embrace what we have and not look outside of things that we do not have, we can be successful as youth. So that wasting much of your time, we do have one announcement. We've got an all-night prayer, which is starting at 7:45 up to 5 a.m. Today to tomorrow at Center of Hope, number 85 Baines. Those who don't know Baines, it's road number 3 from this road going to your right. So we are all encouraged to come and fellowship, and there will be powerful preachers there. So I hope we are going to see you there. Also, all gentlemen to remain behind after the service. And this marks the end of our program. Thank you. May the chorister lead us in singing as we file out. Can you sing?
I think I would just like to take this moment to thank Pastor Ngwaru for making the time, being with you as our youth at City Center Church from morning up to now. How many of you are saying we are going to change our lives from what we have learned today from stewardship? Well, I'm happy to see all these hands. What we want to see now is the change, right? But this is not just a motivational speaker. Stewardship is not about just, making motivational speeches. It's about changing lives from poor to rich. From things that you used to do which were wrong to improve the quality of your life. Not just for yourself, but for your family, for the church, and for the government, and for the community. Okay? That's why we have stewardship lessons. Don't think of stewardship just as tithe paying only. This is actually to change your life. So I'm happy that you attended this first session. Pastor Ngwaru will come again and he will do a whole week of stewardship for the church. And I hope that all of us will be there so that we can glean more from him when he does that week of stewardship. But for now, I'm hoping that you are in the correct mindset to go and change your life. May God help you. Thank you. We can now sing and go. Thank you very much, Pastor Ngwaru.
As we file out. Tiende, tiende, tiende kudenga, tonana, mawanga mumaoko ake. Tiende,
tiende kudenga, tinona mawanga, mumaoko ake, vanokumbira, vanopiwa, vanotsvaga, vanowana, vachitenda kuti ndiye Ishe wavo, vanokumbira, vanopiwa, vanotsvaga, vanowana, vachitenda kuti ndiye Ishe wavo. Wadzima. Vanokumbira, vanopiwa, vanotsvaga, vanowana, vachitenda ndiye Ishe wavo. Tiende kudenga, tinona mavanga. Mangwana choir. Mangwana kune choir. Ku all night iri kwa mangwana mune choir. 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 Ndati choir. And this we are all night. Announcement. I'm not coming all night. Announcement. What do you say? Say na iwe ndinokutaura pamike ukundishedza iwe mukomana nesuti yegrey iwe mukomana iwe wakutotiza nemacheya vanokumbira masquera say Aiwa.